Hey, hey, all you magical beings out there, welcome in or welcome back. My name is Tara, and I've been reading tarot for over 2 decades. My intentions are to shed light on the unknown and provide confirmation for what is already known. Take what resonates and leave the rest. So grab your snacks, your crystals, or your cat, and let's see what cosmic mischief is about today. So, guys, today we did a little pre-poll, but we're going to do a pick a card reading. So this is going to be pile 1. This is going to be pile 2, pile 3, and pile 4. I didn't look at any of the cards except for pile 1. I accidentally did look at what this deck was, but it doesn't really matter because y'all are the ones picking. But yeah, so pick your pile, see what you're drawn to. If you're having a hard time deciding, just roll a dice. That always helps. But yeah, I'll see you at your pile. So for those of you that chose pile 1, welcome to your reading. If you chose pile 1, you chose the cute little gnome guy. This is actually a gnome that I bought from a bookstore, and they were selling them. They're like worry gnomes, so like you're supposed to put them under your pillow, and like you tell the gnome like what you're worried about or what you want the gnome to help you with, like if you're having nightmares or something, and then you put them under your pillow, and then it's supposed to help. So that might have some significance to what's going on with you. Determining the energetic potential of a place one is considering moving to. And you got the angel deck. Okay. So because we only got one deck, because like I did a pre-poll, I asked Spirit how many decks and which decks. For your reading, we only got one deck. So we're going to pull from that deck, and then I'm going to see if there might be anything else that might help. But most likely we're just going to do that. It's going to be kind of short and sweet. But we are going to see how many from that deck. 3. Okay. All right. Okay, so we got the angel deck out. Oops, I see there is some cards that are not the right way. Okay. This deck's like, actually a lot of my decks are not really super easy to shuffle. So you got like that gold stuff on the side. And they're kind of slippery. I mean, this one seems like it wants to come out. We'll take it. Really trying to do... I mean, it is in reverse, so... We'll just see. It's 9 of Pentacles. I mean, it's in reverse 9 of Pentacles, so maybe... Hold on. Let's just pull all of them, and then we'll go from there. It's Page of Swords, Hahaya, and then the 9 of Pentacles is Ihuya. I can't see these names. I'm terrible. Hyuya. And this was, it was in the reverse. Alright. Alright, so from what we got here, I'm getting that it's a big no. That the energetic potential of the place that if you're considering moving somewhere, even if like you were dreaming of moving there one day, or somewhere you're just considering moving to in the in the very near future. I'm getting a big no because, so we got the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. The Nine of Pentacles is the foundation, self-sufficiency, luxury, financial independence, and I'm getting that it's saying that if you move to this place, you're going to be preventing those things from coming in. And then for the Page of Swords, we got intellectual curiosity arising in matter, questions everything, gathers knowledge. So I think that's just like Spirit saying like it's good to be in that mindset and framework when trying to find somewhere to move. And it's just saying like, you know, make sure you gather all of the facts before you do move somewhere. And then for the Knight of Wands, in reverse, it's will in motion, the active pursuit of passion, dynamic transformation, adventuring spirit. So I feel like it's saying, because it's in reverse, to not adventure there, essentially, and like chill with the adventuring spirit, because this is not going to be somewhere that's like going to turn out good. All right, and then we got for the this angel. I'm not even going to keep trying to say their name. I have no clue how to say that. So they're called the all-knowing God. The Lord knoweth the thoughts of man, that they are vanity. So I think it's with that, it's indicating like, and then when we come across like luxury, financial independence, like it's saying maybe like you were wanting to live in this place because it's appealing and like you feel like you would be able to like really step up your game there, something like that. But Spirit's saying like it's a big no. The person born under the influence of this angel will love to fulfill all the works of their estate. So we're talking about estate. Ayuha, I can't say that, will help recognize traitors and destroy their projects and their machinations and protect all Christian leaders and makes their subjects obedient. So I think what it's saying is that wherever you're considering to move, that's not going to be an area that's protected in that manner. Yeah. So the energy is probably like kind of like treacherous, dark, a lot of like underhanded stuff going on. All right, and then for Hyuya, we got, why standest thou afar off, O Lord? Why hidest thou thyself in times of trouble? The person born under Hyuya will be gentle and witty and possess discreet manners. Hyuya governs dreams, will protect against adversity and reveal mysteries hidden from mortals. So I think like with the whole thing with the gnome, with the dreams, and then this card coming out is saying like you'll find the answer in your dreams. Pay attention to your dreams. Set an intention before you go to bed. And ask Spirit to please let you remember your dreams and to provide you with clarity on this situation. Like, yeah. What else? And reveals mysteries hidden from mortals. Okay. And then lastly, we have the I can't say. I'm not even going to try to say that one again. But number 24. So we got, the Lord taketh pleasure in them that fear him, and those that hope in his mercy. Those born under this angel will love truth and the sciences and will be sincere in their words and actions. Hahuya obtains grace and mercy from God, rules over exiles and prisoners, works against the discovery of secret crimes, and protects from animals and assassins. So, yeah, I'm just getting, like, this isn't a good place to go to, because, like, there's not going to be, like, protection there for some reason. Like, the people that are going to be in the area are going to be people that, like, don't love truth. They don't love the sciences. They won't be sincere in their words and actions. So, I think that's saying, like, definitely don't do that. So lastly, I'm just going to pull, like, a fortune for you. This is a really short and sweet reading. Hopefully it helped, and if you did choose this pile and you'd like some more clarity and the dream thing didn't work and you'd like me to do a reading on if like where specifically you should move or anything like that, you can always book me for a personal reading. Just shoot me an email at T as in Tom, N as in Nancy, E as in Edward, S as in Sam, T as in Tom, 1002 at outlook.com. And make the subject title request for a reading. Alright, so the fortune you got is the thing in us that we fear just wants our love. The thing in us that we fear just wants our love. Okay. Wow. Interesting. It's super interesting because it literally just said that on this card. The Lord taketh pleasure in them that fear him and those that hope in his mercy. The thing in us that we fear just wants our love. Word. That's some dope synchronicity right there. Alright, guys. I really hope this resonated with you and helped you in some way. And have a great rest of your day or night, depending on when you're watching this. And I will hopefully catch you on the next one. Peace. Hey, Pile 2, welcome to your reading. So, we are going to see what's going on here. What is this reading going to be about? Quest for identity, coming of age, or midlife crisis. Okay, very nice. Now, you guys picked this guy, which I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's from the movie The Labyrinth with David Bowie, which was one of my favorite movies, and I just love his character. I don't know his name. Hold on. Okay, so his name is actually William, and he's also known as the Worm. So I guess he's a worm. That's William. William's got a real spunky attitude, and I love William. He's like my favorite. Okay. So, the decks that Spirit guided us to use are Travel Cards, Narrator, Intentions, Obstacle Type, What's It About, Goddess Guidance. We got a lot. We got a lot here. Okay, so we're gonna see. Let's see what's going on. Alright, so I pulled some cards for, like, the decks that Spirit asked to draw from that only really, like, require, like, one card to be pulled, so we got travel cards, and Spirit is indicating travel going on, but then we got the obstacle type deck, and physical obstacle. And then it says, as an example, vehicle breaks down, horse gets sick, lack of wind and sail, broken leg, fallen tree. So I'm thinking automatically it has something to do with that. So we want to be careful with any type of travel plans and make sure that all our ducks are in a row, that we have contingency plans in place in case our vehicle does break down, so that we are not completely FUCK'd. All right. Maybe also just get your vehicle checked on if you haven't in a while. Just make sure everything's okay. It could also be saying that you need to travel somewhere and you have this physical obstacle already, and because that brought me to where it says, for intention cards, we got benefic taker from those of the light and from those not of the light. So I think it's saying, it might be saying that, like, you need to be able to be willing to take a hand out from somebody else, and don't, like, develop this complex about it where you feel like you're a burden or you feel bad about yourself, because you're being asked to travel somewhere and you need help. You might need help here. Okay? So maybe if you know somebody that works on cars, if you don't have the money, something like that. Like, ask them for help. And then for the narrator deck, we pulled the omniscient narration. So that's who the perspective is that this is going to be coming from. Sometimes we get cards that are super negative, like dialogue cards, stuff like that. And then I'll ask, like, who's talking. And it could be like a family member or something like that. But this is saying that this is from the perspective of a higher power. The all that is or ever was has the greatest full insight into the narrative events. Perspective knows the character's motives, unspoken thoughts, and experiences. So that's a really good narrator to have in a reading. All right, and then for the what's it about, an astrological placement on your solar arcs chart. So that I am recommending that you look at your solar arcs chart. We're going to roll the astro dice and see, like, what's going on there, and then I want you to, like, look at your solar arcs chart. Whatever system that you resonate with, I use Deluge, Campanus, Side Rail, and it's the 360, I think it's 361 degree on Astrology Master. I use the Astrology Master app. That's the system I use. You can use whatever system you want that resonates with you. But it's telling you to look into your solar arcs chart, a placement revolving around the 12th house, Taurus, and this is Mercury. I don't know, I have a hard time, like, telling what these are on here for some reason. Whoop. They're just, like, kind of styled a little differently than what I, like, learned, so I have to, like, really look at it. Some of them are confusing too, like Mercury and Pluto look very similar, and this one is Mars? No, that's Venus. This is Venus. That's Mars. Mercury with the horns. I think this is Pluto. Yeah. Alright, anyway, so we got Mercury. Something in your solar arcs chart is significant with your Mercury placements. 12th house, Taurus. If you have that exact placement in your solar arc chart, definitely look at that. Otherwise, look for those indicators in there, and that should help you with this situation. Okay, so quest for identity, coming of age or midlife crisis. So there's some type of quest for identity going on. So next we were told to draw from the shamanic healing. 5. Let's see. Let's see which ones come out. One, burden. I just talked about being a burden. Grounding is in reverse, so I'm assuming it's talking about you need to be grounded. We usually don't really anger. Okay. We usually don't take into consideration reversals with the shamanic healing, but for some reason I'm feeling like I need to in this situation. Anger. To help resolve anger problems. Maybe feeling like you're a burden. Grounding is suggested. To ground yourself outside nature. Put your bare feet on the ground. Masculine energy. Either you're a masculine or somebody you're dealing with a masculine, somebody that's made you feel like a burden in the past, perhaps your father, some type of significant masculine energy that's been in your life. Letting go. Yeah, letting go of the past, letting go of this identity, that's some toxic identity that's been placed on you like a mask. That's what I'm getting. And we are going to look in the book, though. All right, so we got 10 burden. Many times we take on the stress of those we love and care for. We see it as the ultimate sacrifice. We take on others' burdens to save them the trouble or heartache. Ironically, the way energy in the universe work makes us a very counterproductive way of operating. When we take on the burdens of others, we deny them the ability to learn and grow from their own lessons. We also interfere with divine planning and timing. Never one to be thwarted, any lesson circumvented will absolutely reappear, sometimes with much more force than what was originally intended. Ask yourself if you or another is taking on troubles and lessons not belonging to them out of a need to be needed. This stems from the fear that you or they are fundamentally not enough. This is not true. You are created perfect. Your fears and doubts keep you separated from this truth. This is the separation one can feel from Creator. Once you accept and believe you are perfect and worthy, the tendency to make yourself invaluable to others through your help and assistance will go away. Your relationships can then be based on truth and not manipulation. Okay, so like I understand like what this is saying, but there are times when somebody might need to ask for help. But I guess what Spirit's saying is that like you don't need to, like you have all the power to solve your problems yourself. And you're gonna keep having these problems until you actually like take it into your own hands and solve the problem. So like if we're talking about a car breaking down, something preventing travel, then I guess what Spirit would be saying here is to try to learn how to fix the car yourself. Get the tools that you need. and fix it yourself. Maybe even you could ask somebody if you can borrow the tools, but to ask them to actually fix it without compensation that's where it would become like a burden if there's not like a fair exchange. So there was something here. Ask yourself if you or another is taking on troubles and lessons not belonging to them out of a need to be needed. This stems from the fear that you or they are fundamentally not enough. This is not true. So there could also be something with like anger and like basically trying to get this acceptance from this masculine energy, and it's causing you to feel burdened and to feel angry, and Spirit saying to let go of this need for acceptance and thinking that this is the only way that you can be loved, because that's simply not the case. All right, and then what do we got for grounding, letting go? I think that's good. We don't need to read any more from the book on that. These readings are supposed to be just short and sweet, and we're already kind of like going a little over on time here. All right, so next we have the Beetlejuice deck. Hold on. Where did I put that? Okay. So how many from this? 6. Okay. One. Two 7s right away. 8. Cups energy. 2. 4. And we got Joker. Okay. Alright, so for the first card, 7 of Hearts, we have good omens coming in. Particularly, if this card brings hope, recovery, peace, forgiveness, reconciliation, romance, plans, planning, the soul, the Holy Spirit, angels, fame, recognition, a new chapter, dreams, dreaming, and the night sky. When the chips are down and all hope seems lost, the Star of Bethlehem, which is the name of what the method I use to read playing cards, well, one of the methods, that's what it's called, appears as a beacon in the night sky for those who will follow it out of the valley of darkness. The Star of Bethlehem is the new star appearing in the sky that the 3 magi followed on a long and dangerous journey to the birthplace of Jesus, who was swaddled and placed in a feeding trough or manger. It heralded the coming of God's healing in the person of Jesus, who brought both literal healing and a message of reconciliation everywhere he went. So overall, that's pretty good omen. Okay, and then we got the 7 of Spades, which is the veil. It represents the hidden things of God and the more passive, receptive, and feminine aspects of God, such as hidden knowledge, the occult, moon energy, psychic, spiritual gifts, healing, miracles, knowing intuition, commanding the spirits, powers of exorcism, prophecies, dream interpretations, vision, astrology, divination, fortune telling, magic, ghosts, spirit world, mediums, shamans, Native American beliefs and practices, earth magic. So far we got 2 cards that are talking about dreams. So I think that's significant here. Maybe to try to look into your dreams about the situation, and you'll hopefully find more clarity on everything that's going on. Also, healing is another theme that's the same between these 2 cards. Alright, and then we got the 8 of Hearts. Water into wine. Hearts are very fast, pure energy, and 8s represent abundance. Water into wine in a reading represents transformation, health, fame. Fame again, right? The other one was talking about that. Let me see. Yep. Fame. Notoriety, a great reputation, abundant joy, wine, drunkenness, getting high, the blood of Christ, the sacraments, a miracle, a strong heart, pride, the wedding day, a feast, a party, and a large family gathering. Okay. So we got a lot of fame, healing, dream stuff going on, partying. All right, let's see. 2 of clubs. So far, it's handcuffs. Oh, uh-oh. Okay, so maybe saying like to be careful with the partying. Oh, it is in the reverse. Yeah. Yeah, be careful with the partying, I'm getting. Handcuffs indicate a union without any emotional feelings or slightly negative feelings that are not acted upon. Feeling forced or duty bound to interact with this other party. Oh, there you go, with the duty and the burdens. It is important for the seeker to note that if they believe this relationship with the other party to be close, personal, or loving, the appearance of this card in a reading indicates a lack of mulch, again, a mulch your garden? A lack of mutual feelings, a lack of caring, or possibly the existence of slightly negative emotions towards the seeker. The appearance of handcuffs also indicates a purely professional, clinical, or impersonal relationship. It may represent the number 2, 2 eyes, 2 breasts, 2 testes, 2 lungs, 2 hands, twins, or any combination of the number 2. Okay, yeah. So basically saying that the relationship that you have with this person that's involved in the situation of the either like they're asking you for help all the time or you're asking them for help all the time, it needs to be cut off because it's just not a healthy relationship, and you're being bound by responsibility, by perception of responsibility when there really is none, because Spirit's saying whoever's involved in this situation has the ability and has the power to do whatever they need to do to overcome the obstacles. So when asking somebody for help, I guess what's trying to be made clear here is it's important when asking somebody for help, like, are you asking them from a place of being, like, lazy, or are you asking from a place of, like, you really, truly need help? So, I think that's really what needs to be taken into consideration with that. And then we got the Four of Diamonds, the cornerstone. It represents a house, a car, a job, a bank account, investments, higher education, licenses, degrees, certificates, job skills, and physical items related to the number 4. Cards in the diamond suit represent practical, tangible, solid objects and pursuits. The number 4 represents physical things with 4 walls, 4 wheels, solidity, and stability. The diamond suit adds the aspect of speed, indicating transactions and the movement of money. So I think it's saying, like, make this situation one where it is more of a professional relationship, and you're not just give to somebody and not getting anything back, or vice versa. Like, actually make sure you compensate the person. If you're getting help from them, make sure you compensate them. And then we have the Joker, which I'm taking this as the red Joker because there's red on it. The other one's like green and blue. So, let's see. So it's called the butterfly in this interpretation. And it represents renewal, transformation, beauty, freedom. And then we had the handcuffs. So, like, by making this a fair exchange, you will be getting the freedom from constantly having obstacles, and vice versa if it's the other way around. So, like, literally, if you're just constantly helping someone and they're not giving you anything in return, you're actually harming them. You're putting them in handcuffs because you're preventing them from learning the lessons that they need to learn, that the universe is trying to make them learn. Because for whatever reason, they need to learn how to do these things by themselves. Beauty, freedom, a fresh start, new, popular, outgoing, social butterfly, limited attention span, sex, and attraction. The butterfly in a reading acts quickly to bring change, but this opportunity for change may pass quickly if not acted upon. So, yes, it's just saying, like, change the situation quickly. Like, enough is enough. Do what you gotta do. All right? All right, and then for our last little bit of insight here, we got the Goddess Guidance deck. And how many do we want from this? I mean, I feel like we basically got our answer here, but I hope it doesn't say like 8, 7, of course. Okay. Really? Guys, come on. No. Alright, we'll do it. Oh, there we go. Bast, independent. Your independence is a foundation for your strength and success. So it's in the reverse. So to me, that's saying, like, confirming everything we just talked about. That, like, independence needs to be key here. Mother Mary, expect a miracle. Have faith that your prayers have been heard and are being answered. So to me, that's talking about how, like, any help you really truly need, you will get that help. True love. The romantic stirrings in your heart have propelled the universe to deliver great love to you. Ooh. Good news there. Ooh, maybe, maybe that's what it's saying, is like that's causing the handcuff block, is because being dependent on somebody else or having them be dependent on you is causing a block in your love life. And we have prosperity on the bottom of the deck, too. The universe is pouring its abundance out to you. Be open to receiving. Yes, and I think that's what the timing card is like. This is all waiting for you right around the corner. Like, be open to receiving, and it's all yours. But you gotta fix whatever's got going on here. Divine passion. Be honest with yourself. What is your heart's true desire? So yeah, being honest with yourself, it's saying like you're not being honest with yourself about what you desire, which is, I'm guessing, having to do with being free and love. So maybe you're sitting there thinking like, I don't really care about love. Like, what do you mean? Like, I have too much going on. And Spirit's saying like, be honest with yourself, because like, who honestly really doesn't want love in their life? Like, get real. So 4 or 5, 6, 7. Green Tower. Start delegating. Ask others, including me, to help you instead of trying to do everything yourself. Okay, so there you go. So like, that helps to clarify what it was talking about. So it's saying like, instead of doing everything by yourself, ask for help. And so that kind of changes things too, like down here. Like, I mean, the whole thing with like making sure that things are a fair exchange always applies in life. That's always just a wise way to handle things. But it's saying somebody that you're dealing with potentially looks at you as a burden, and it's causing this anger and this problems going on, and to let go of that situation, and the universe will help you and will provide for you a way where somebody's not treating you like you're a burden and getting angry every time you ask them for help, because that's not right. And that does feel like handcuffs when somebody treats you like that. So, okay, I'm glad we pulled from this deck as many as we did. I always gotta trust in the process. And then for the last card, we got Mott. Fairness. This situation will be handled in a fair and just manner. Beautiful. I love that. Alright, guys. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it provides some clarity for you. If you'd like to have any further insight, feel free to book a personal reading with me. You could shoot me an email at T as in Tom, N as in Nancy, E as in Edward, S as in Sam, T as in Tom, 1002 at outlook.com, and just put in the subject title, request for a reading, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day or night, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye. Hey, Pile 3, welcome into your reading. So for those of you that picked this Minecraft warrior, I don't actually know, is he a skeleton? Regardless, he's wearing diamond armor, he's a warrior, so that's who you picked. Alright, what's it about? A stalker? Oh my god. That's scary. Okay, this should be interesting. Oh, I just got ill spooker vibes. Okay, great. And then the 2 decks that we were guided to pull from is motivation / goals and events. Oh, wow. Okay. Alright, let's see. How many events cards, Spirit? 6. Oh, wow. Okay. We're really going to try to just stick to the decks that we were guided to pull from, so this reading's probably not going to be very long. And if you do want to have more clarity on the reading, you can always book a personal reading with me, and just email me at My email is T as in Tom, N as in Nancy, E as in Edward, S as in Sam, T as in Tom, 1002 at outlook.com. And then just put in the subject line, request for a reading, all capitals would help. And I will get back to you as soon as I can, because I would be able to better help with the situation and provide more clarity on who is stalking. But okay. We'll see. We'll see what comes out in this reading. Election day. So something about election day. Maybe you went to go vote, and this person was there. That's where they met you. Accidental leak of classified surveillance footage. Someone is pretending to be someone they're not online with nefarious purposes. Uh-oh. Accidental leak of classified surveillance footage. I mean, only you are going to know, like, really what this is talking about as far as, like, if this resonates. It resonates. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And this might not be a reading, but art gallery opening. It was in reverse, so I wonder, maybe an art gallery closing happened. Something like that. Maybe the stalker's preventing you from having an art gallery opening. For funeral or memorial service. Uh-oh. 1, 2, 4, 5. Town hall meeting. Okay. Alright, well, let's see what the motivations, goals are, and then we'll try to piece it together. How many motivations and goals? 3. Oh, geez. Obliterating an enemy. Getting revenge. Dealing with bullies. Okay. Someone is pretending to be someone they're not online with nefarious purposes. Okay, there's a funeral, town hall meeting. Alright, so I'm just, like, using my secret stack and seeing, like, what's up with this stalker a little bit. Someone you don't know in the 3D. I don't know why that had to be put on there. Someone you in the 3D. Oh, okay, I get what it's saying. Someone you in the 3D doesn't know. So, like, your conscious self doesn't know is in love with you. And I guess they're trying to deal with bullies and getting revenge. And they're doing it by doing all this stuff. So, it's not necessarily, like, a terrible thing. A specific story you keep a secret. So there's some type of story that you keep a secret specifically, and this stalker knows about it, and they're maybe that, whatever that story is, maybe it's something that made them fall in love with you, or it's something they're trying to protect you about. It'd be some government involvement here. What else? One more. This secret is not contained in this deck. Wow, okay. Ooh. And we got a lot in here, so we got a lot of secrets in here. Yeah, it's not contained in this deck. Okay. So yeah, that would be something I could dive into in a personal more, for sure. Alright, so we're just going to close this out with a fortune. And then, like I said, if you guys want to book a reading with me to get more clarification on that, or whatever you want to book a reading about, I am so down to do that. The man who has no imagination has no wings. Okay. So I guess just like trying to keep an open mind about what's going on in your life and not just automatically being like, oh yeah, no, there's no way that could be me. Because like Spirit's saying, like, this is what's going on with you. And I honestly believe my readings are pretty accurate, because like I've done readings on myself and they're like really on the nose. But yeah, I think there's definitely something like really going on here that's pretty interesting. That's for sure. All right, guys, I hope that this helped you in some way, got the cogs moving and the proverbial mechanisms of the mind. And yeah, have a great rest of your day or night, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye. Hey, Pile 4, welcome to your reading. For those of you that chose the haunted house, which we love haunted houses around here, so welcome to your reading. Alright, so for your topic, we got overcoming the monster. I don't know where we can keep this, where you can kind of see it. Overcoming the monster. Okay. And then for the decks that Spirit guided me to draw from, there's quite a bit. We got politic cards, the literary witches, angel numbers deck, tree of life tarot deck, dark mirror, hermetic tarot, your worst nightmare fear cards. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to pull some cards from these because we're trying to do short and sweet readings here, and these are a lot of decks, so we need to try to get some of it handled as quickly as possible. Alright. You know what, actually, so for the politic cards, which is the first one, we're going to do it on camera. We got two. Oh, this guy's flipping out. Chuck Schumer. Oops, I did it again. Chucky, C to Chucky. For some reason, this is how he's depicted as Chucky the Killer Doll. That's creepy. I honestly don't really know anything about Chuck Schumer, but we can maybe look him up and see, because something to do with this reading. Come on. Anything else gonna come out? I feel like this one. David Axelrod. Do you like to gamble, Eddie? Gamble money on pool games? Minnesota Fats the Hustler, 1961. David Axelrod. I have no clue who that is. Playing pool, talking about gambling. Oops, I did it again. Do you like to gamble? Overcoming the monster. Okay. Next, literary witches. How many? Just one. Oop. I pretty much like never use this deck. So these cards are really not easy to shuffle. And they're really slippery. Okay, we got Toad. Well, we got a lot there, but we're just taking one. Toad came out. And we will read from the book on that. I'm going to put it like this because so that way we have room for the rest. Angel numbers deck. I have like barely any angel numbers in this deck. Usually don't really use this deck, but for some reason Spirit wanted us to use it here, so we'll see. 000 completion. One chapter ends and another begins. Okay, that helps. It actually does help. Alright, Tree of Life. How many from Tree of Life? 6. Tree of Life. Not really popping out. Alright, we're just gonna pick 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. So, got those bad boys. Put that over there. Next, we got Dark Mirror. Let's see. Where's the Dark Mirror deck? How many from there? Oh, God. 8? Alright, I'm going to trust the process. Alright, so we got... Well, we are overcoming the monster, so there's got to be a lot for Dark Mirror. And that's just funny, though, that that came out in here. And your worst nightmare fear cards, too. It's interesting. And politics, of course, right? Anger and Chains. Addicted. Naked Before the Stars. Black Flower Fragrance. Obsession. I was gonna pull like this. Revenge. Forgetting oneself. The child I was meant to be. Okay. Alright, and then we're gonna come back to this. I think the order, I just messed it up, but whatever. It doesn't matter. It does and it doesn't, you know? Alright, so for next, for the Hermetic Tarot. How many for this one? One, okay. Like, I don't think we need any more, like, tarot going on here. Because we already got tarot over here. And then for the Your Worst Nightmare cards, how many? 7. Okay. All right. This is a really fun game, by the way. This is actually a game. Your Worst Nightmare cards. It's like you guess like the other person's fears of which order they would put them in. Like you draw, I think it's like 4 or 5 fears in the middle for everybody to put on their board, like in the order of like what fear is they're afraid of the most to the least. And then you pick another player and you put them on here, and then you guess which order they put it in, and if you get any of them right, you get a point. It's pretty cool. Your Worst Nightmare sponsor, you know. Yeah, right. Okay. Tofu. Okay. Overcoming the monster. Tofu. What else? Having a baby. Okay. I could definitely see how that could be scary. Children are a huge responsibility. There's so many cards in here. Oh my god. Alright, let's see. I'm not gonna take that. We're just gonna... I flipped to a card, but I wasn't sure, so I decided not to take it. Alright. Secondhand smoke. Okay. Toilets overflowing. Yeah. That could definitely be something to be scared of. I mean, this doesn't have to be taken, though, as fears, like, necessarily. It could just be, like, these are just imagery of a specific situation that is trying to come out. Being buried alive. Yikes. Parking garages. Big cities. Okay. Alright, so I just did a little research on Chuck Schumer, and something I found that's interesting that stood out to me that might apply here is the Schumer box is also named after Chuck Schumer, but this refers to his role in requiring credit card companies to clearly outline terms and promotional materials. So perhaps there is some type of contract that you've signed that was not clear in the excuse me, I keep getting spiritual burps. We call them that. So perhaps there was some type of contract that you signed that was not clear in the terms and conditions, and this kind of talking about that. That's might be what this reading's about, is like overcoming the monster of somebody that tried to deceive you with some type of contract. And it could be a spiritual contract. It could be a physical contract. Okay. If it is a spiritual contract, you just need to basically become aware of it and then denounce it in a dramatic way would probably be more helpful. So next, okay, and then as far as David Axelrod, what I found on him is he was like a chief consultant for Barack Obama, and then he became like a political commentator. The most interesting thing I found was he has a daughter that was diagnosed with epilepsy, and she had brutal seizures. She was developmentally disabled, and then after high school, the family put her in a group home, a large dormitory style group home. And Axelrod advocates for a flexible, mixed approach to group homes that supports environments for people like his daughter, in contrast to the common approach of exclusively moving towards smaller group homes. So, basically talking about somebody going through an immense struggle with their child and having to make a very difficult decision to place them in out-of-home care. Yeah. And then for Ten of Clubs, so Ten of Clubs is the hamster wheel card, and it represents the rat race, the business of life, the countless mundane details of daily existence, the daily grind, treading water, the never-ending to-do list, the journey of life, commuting a long trip, traveling over water, international locations, long distances, running a marathon, and long-term goals. Now for Six of Clubs, we have the olive tree. The olive tree in a reading may represent a person's roots, their background, their family, history, ancestors, family tree. So that's interesting because I brought up about his family, country of origin, race, creed, clan, resume, work history, career path, criminal history, credit history, associations, and awards. In health readings, it may represent a person's physical, spiritual, or mental health. In spiritual readings, it may represent the church, tree of life. So that's interesting because we're called to draw from the tree of life. So maybe let's just switch right to the tree of life and see what that has to say and get some more clarification here. Alright, so for the tree of life, we got security, control, holding on to possessions. Automatically, that makes I look right at the angel number that came out. Completion, one chapter ends and another begins. So, like, letting go of the old chapter and moving on. Overcoming the monster. So, if this is something that we're struggling with personally, Spirit is saying in order to overcome the monster, we need to move on from it. Leave it in the past, move on. It can also have to do with holding on to possessions and control over the situation. Possessions that are related to whatever this nefarious kind of energy is, that would be considered monstrous. And then this will help lead to an awakening, a resurrection, the true calling by letting go of these things. And then I was kind of just drawn to this with the whole true calling. Let's read from the book on what this is saying with the Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands is the Lord of Valor. 7 wands appear in this card. 6 wands intertwine. The center upright wand has a winged solar disc and 2 serpents on top. I have to turn down my fan. Hold on. Okay. It was like way too loud. Alright. The center upright wand has a winged solar disc and 2 serpents on top, and on the bottom is an orb with an arrow representing Mars. The crossed wands are topped by lingams and flowers. The lion's tail at the bottom of the 2 of the wands represents Leo. Flames leap from the point of juncture of the wands. Above and below the wands are the symbols for Mars and Leo. Mars in Leo, 20 degrees to 30 degrees. Angels, Mahashya and Leilahel. Meanings: victory, valor, advantage, gain, overcoming opposition. So I think this is just saying, Spirit is just saying that, like, you're going to have victory in this situation, but it starts with, like, letting go of possessions, letting go of control, and that will help lead to the awakening and your true calling. Now, this monster could be somebody you're dealing with. It doesn't necessarily mean Spirit is calling you a monster, but overcoming the monster doesn't mean to be taken as, like, you're this horrible being or somebody else is this horrible being. It could just mean that there's some stuff, some shadow work that needs to be worked on, which is what, like, the Dark Mirror cards are about. Alright, so next we have challenge, discipline, restriction, conflict, competition, struggle for dominance. So I think that there's a lot of, like, control going on here. I think this has to do with the David Axelrod, is like having to give up your child to put them in, like, a group home that requires an immense amount of letting go ability, and that's one of the hardest things to have to do, is to let it go of your child to the hands of somebody else. And even if that is, like, it comes naturally where, like, your child grows up and moves out, like, you're still letting your child go out into the world, and it's just super difficult. So there's a lot of that going on here where we need to learn how to let go of control to be able to see what is actually needed for ourselves to embody our true selves. Next we have Chokma, wisdom, dynamic energy, initiation, intellect, conflict, decisions is swords energy, decision making, balancing, opposing thoughts. So we have, like, conflicting thoughts going on here about something, and the Chokma wisdom energy is coming in to try to help with that. And it's saying, in order to help balance the opposing thoughts, to use planning, considering future actions, and initial steps. And then we end with Netjok victory. So we got 7 of Wands energy and 7 of Cups energy. And so we got victory twice. So that's good. Desire, endurance, emotions, relationships, intuition, choices, illusions, imagination. So using our imagination, cutting through the illusion, and, like, using our imagination to consider the future actions, to be able to plan ahead and plan out these steps moving forward into the new chapter. is what I'm getting here with that. Okay. Next, we have Toad in the Literary Witches deck. Let's see what that is talking about. So, for Toad, we got... This is like the Witches Materials deck. We got Humor, the Grotesque, and Joy. Interesting how that kind of correlates with like how I was describing overcoming the monster, because it doesn't have to be looked at as this like grotesque or like horrific thing, but I found it interesting how it had humor, grotesque, and joy all under the same description for the Toad. So yeah, I guess just like being able to see different aspects of and involved in like a decision that you're going to be making, being able to see different aspects, looking at it from like the glass being half full, half empty, and like weighing the pros and cons and trying to be as objective as possible about the situation and not falling into some type of judgmental, like, also I'm looking here at the quotes that are under these cards. Do you like to gamble? Like, don't gamble on your life. Like, actually weigh the pros and the cons and plan ahead and make informed decisions. And like the oops, I did it again. Like, let's not do that. Let's overcome these obstacles and move forward, because victory is in the horizon. Now, as far as like these cards, I'm just thinking whoever's watching this, you might resonate with this. These could be things that Spirit just wants you to be aware of, that you might have a fear of. Big cities, parking garages, being buried alive, toilets overflowing, secondhand smoke, having a baby, tofu. Tofu is pretty funny. Like vegetarian food, vegan food, so yeah, I mean, I feel like this is kind of like just saying like to use the method we just described. Okay, I had to sneeze. Using the method we just described and evaluating like your fears and stuff, like whatever these are to you, using the method we just described with them, because I'm sure these have some significance to you. Also, I'm thinking like, you know, in a big city, there's lots of parking garages. What if they collapse and being buried alive? So like having contingency plans for things that you are afraid of that are holding you back, maybe potentially. That could have to do with the whole like holding on to control, being a control freak. It could be preventing you from awakening to your true calling because you're so riddled with fear. All of these irrational kind of, I mean, they're not necessarily irrational, but like they shouldn't be hindering your progress in life. And if any type of fear is hindering your progress, you need to try to look at it from an objective perspective and figure out a plan moving forward that will help you to overcome this fear, to face this fear in a way where like your level of risk is minimal. So like, for example, if you're afraid of having a baby, go get fixed. Like, get your tubes tied or get a vasectomy. Don't have unprotected sex. Like, you know. But also, if like a part of you really does want to have a baby but you're scared of it, weigh the pros and the cons. Do the research, figure out like what's going on. Use a little humor, use a little joy. Look at the grotesque aspects of having a baby too, because it ain't all sunshine and rainbows for sure. But look at the good and the bad and see what see how you feel after actually truly weighing all of that out. This could also be talking about, like, because we were talking about David Axelrod's daughter and how with the birth defects that happen with those, or the developmental delays that happen because of the seizures. And, you know, that could have a lot to do with maybe if, like, you're a smoker or your partner's a smoker, you're worried about having a baby because you don't want the baby to get messed up from that. Things like that. All right. Lastly, we are going to see what's going on with this dark mirror. Is this upside down? Anger and chains. Anger and chains. Addicted. Forgetting oneself. Naked before the stars. Black flower fragrance. The child I was meant to be. Obsession and revenge. So automatically obsession, letting go of control comes up. Addicted brings me to the secondhand smoke situation. Forgetting oneself, coming into an awakening with your true calling. Allowing yourself to be seen, naked before the stars. Anger and chains. We're going to read from the book for that one. That's not one I'm completely sure where it's going with that. Black flower fragrance. I don't really know about that one either. Alright, let's start with Anger and Chains 29. Oh, okay. So the chains could be talking about, like I was talking about earlier with the Chuck Schumer, the contract situation. Something like that. And then the contract could actually be like having a baby. That's a huge contract to enter into. Alright, so the moon phase that represents this card is the waning crescent. Force channel outside, unreasonable, undirected, but powerful. Undirected and unreasonable. So that goes hand in hand with, like, excuse me, another spiritual verb. I'm like all full of it today. So that goes hand in hand with the Two of Wands, because it's talking about planning, considering future actions, initial steps, and then this is saying unreasonable, undirected, but powerful. So there's this powerful energy that's at one's disposal. And the 2 sevens was the 7 of Wands and the 7 of Cups is talking about victory. So I think that's, like, you know, great to think about, that there's this potential for great victory. But it could also end in disaster. So let's see. What does it say? Lions and sparks and chains and signs and lines all melded together, geometry and colors, like an explosion. Oh, and this card's talking about, like, Leo energy and the Mars energy, which is fire, and we got the wands. Alright. So I've got to break free. I want to break free. Anger is not the road to clarity. It's not a controlled effort or a cold dish. It is raw, primal, explosive. It is the loss of reason, the loss of restraint. A bomb burning bright in black color, a wax seal carefully crafted to be immediately broken. But anger is also freedom. How can you break a single thread woven with a million others? How can you unfetter yourself from a bad situation, letting all the rest unchanged? It doesn't work like that. When you need to break free, you need to shake and shout, and more things will be broken than just what you want to hurt. They are like a bundle you can target, but you cannot choose. Break many to break one. Save one to save many. Okay. And it was in the reverse, too, so we gotta take that into consideration. Again, I think this is also talking about, like, even, like, with emotions, there's good and bad to any emotion that you could have. So just because you feel angry doesn't automatically make you a monster. Anger has its value. It can break one apart from a situation where they are feeling like they're in chains, because it helps them to recognize how badly it's affecting them. For example, if somebody's like constantly berating you and disrespecting you, and you're just letting it bottle up, eventually you end up exploding. And otherwise you weren't consciously aware of how this was making you feel, and the anger served as a mechanism to allow it to become brought forth to your awareness and the other person's awareness and anybody else in the vicinity. But that's also to be taken like with a grain of salt. Like, you should not let your anger get to the point where you end up like actually harming somebody, something like that. But it does have its value. So again, that's what the whole like weighing the pros and cons situation. All right, what about black flower fragrance? Because I have no clue what that's talking about. The world is unfair. Fuck off, dear world. Fuck you. Okay. A beautiful woman, her face with a hint of resolve, holds a strange black rose on her chest. It seems to explode like a crystal, each petal an obsidian shard. If you want to go dark, go black. Don't stop to the evening, but embrace the night. Love is not a white dove, nor it turns people into angels. Love can be ugly. Love can be cheap. Love can be rotten. But even ugly love has a right to exist. Oh, that makes me think of the toad. Grotesque, humor, and joy. So, where were we? Alright, even cheap love can raise to the sky. Even rotten love has the dignity of eternity. Even a black rose by any other name should still smell as sweet. Even if you are wrong, you still have the right to be angry. Even if you're not perfect, you have the right to be respected. Even if you are stupid, you have the right to be listened to. Even if you are lucky, you have the right to complain. Even if you are rich, you have the right to be sad. If you cannot shine because you are beautiful, then shine even if you are ugly. Shine because you are ugly. Gorgeously black, ugly as love, worn out as an angel, cheap as a crown, unconquered as a fragrance in the night. So this is saying like to just love yourself no matter what, to respect the humanity that is in you, that exists in us all. Nobody is perfect. Everybody has their flaws, and everyone deserves to express themselves and to love and be loved. And you know, I mean, obviously that goes, it should go without saying, I don't agree with anything that includes actually harming somebody else. Like, if something about you is causing harm to other people in a way that's like just completely unjustified, it's not like something that should be encouraged at all. And then I think that's where we have revenge in here. Obsession, the child is meant to be. All right, let's just see what these say. I'm not really sure where they're going with this, but an instant of clarity is the light I needed. There is little darkness in this card. It is a card of connection with ourselves. So many times it feels like dream. It's fleeting, uncertain, and yet clear. The moment you close your hand to grasp it, it turns into fairy light and disappears, but it remains as a lingering smell, an ephemeral feeling of light and peaches and blossoms. It is faith, it is hope, it is a warm smile at the other side of the forest of smokes and mirrors. We can behold smoke. One of the fear cards was talking about secondhand smoke. So, is a warm smile at the other side of the forest of smoke and mirrors. We can be whole again. We can be pure again. We can be happy again. No matter what we did, we can. Just know this as a gift of light among the cruel darkness. It brings no road, sometimes no solace, but it can become a seed of hope, a wind of change, a place for safety in the storm. Even if it's gone, it was definitely here. This is a gift of light among the cruel darkness. It brings no road, sometimes no solace, but it can become a seed of hope, a wind of change, a place for safety in the storm. Even if it's gone, it was definitely here. So I think this is saying that there's an immense guilt going on. It's causing these addictions. It's causing these fears to live life, to step into one's true self because of the guilt and shame in the past. Something to do with anger. Something to do with forgetting oneself and who they truly are. And this is trying to say to like honor your anger. Realize that like anger is a part of being human and it's natural and it's not something that you should be beating yourself up about. But like it does need to be controlled and contained. Security, control, holding on to possession. So showing, and this is in mercy, so like showing control with one's anger is important here, and the discipline, restriction. So like conflict, competition, struggle for dominance. To give up that struggle for dominance where it's like coming into play with the like losing our ever-loving shit and becoming super angry. Let's see what this obsession and revenge is about. We chase comets and mirrors and shadows. Sometimes we actually chase cars or myths. Obsession is a trick of our perception. Many became one, and that one bloats as to take everything else. It feels like it, whatever it is, an idea, a person, an objective, flavors our life and gives meaning to it. As all the light through a lens, it converges on a single point, and that point goes ablaze under the greatest fire. But in truth, more than enacting our life, it numbs our attention to the rest. It makes us feel more awake by hiding the rest of the world under a cloud of slumber. Obsession is a drug addiction. In small doses, it whips. In big doses, it kills. If we drown inside an obsession, we should close our eyes. We don't die in the darkness. We just fall asleep, and then we can wake up more naturally. If we drown inside of an obsession, we should close our eyes. We don't die in the darkness. We just fall asleep. Okay. So I think this is saying like if you're feeling obsessed with like drugs or a person, like with this struggle for dominance and competition, if you're feeling obsessed, just go to sleep. Just take a nap. Just take a nap, and then you'll wake up to this new realization of your true calling, because you won't be burdened and weighed down by the guilt of like feeding into your obsession, and then you'll feel better. revenge. And then we got revenge. And I think that might have to do with the revenge aspect as well, because like taking revenge on yourself by feeling guilty, and then it goes into this like toxic cycle. But to overcome the monster, we need to deal with our demons in a way that actually controls them and gets them to stop stop making us forget who we truly are. Let's see. What if there was a place where there is no more time for words, no more sense to bargain or negotiate, no more survival instinct to accept fear or ponder consequences? It's a place we can reach at the limit of our abuse, with the last spark of our dignity surging up as a powerful black flame. We cry, we hurt, and we strike to destroy. We destroy not for ourselves because we are gone. We destroy for the fairness of the world. We destroy because if there is no sweet justice, there can at least be cruel revenge. We destroy for those who came earlier, for those who would have come later. We destroy, and as we destroy, we forsake ourselves. There is no going back, because coming back from that requires much more than force. We talked about earlier there being like this great force at hand, at our disposal. And yeah, this is essentially saying like there is no white night, but there can be a black storm woven by fallen angels. Yeah. So, okay. So, like, there's a time and a place for, like, revenge type of scenarios, okay? But, like, I feel like this is in the reverse, and this is saying, like, this is not the time nor the place for it anymore. Stop taking, you're taking the revenge out on yourself. Forgetting oneself, taking out the revenge on yourself. Like, you need to forgive yourself. You need to overcome the monster. And awaken to your true calling. And you can't do that if all you're doing is just being in destroy mode. Like, how is that going to help anything? You know, like, it just makes me think, you know, like it was talking about justice, like if there's no sweet justice, we must seek revenge to try to serve justice. And I think the only justice that could come out of this situation is you actually awakening to your true calling, stepping into your power, your true power, and using all of these lessons that you've gained with dealing with tough emotions, with dealing with tough circumstances, with having to make these tough decisions, and actually helping the world in some way and helping others who are having this problem. But the main takeaways here is actually utilizing the planning, considering future actions, the wisdom and the chokmah, the Two of Wands, like actually utilizing that and giving up this competition, struggle for dominance. And really, I would say that's more talking about the struggle within, hating oneself versus loving oneself. Give up that struggle and just love yourself. Like, surrender. The one chapter ends and another begins. Let this be the chapter of surrendering and accepting love into our lives and actually awakening to your true calling. So we're going to just end this with like a fortune. Let's see. It's better to attempt something great and fail than attempt to do nothing and succeed. Yes. So it's better to attempt to overcome the monster within, to actually try instead of just continuously numbing it out with drugs and whatever other BS, revenge, self-hatred, all of that. It's better to actually try to do something great, to step into your power and do something that is your heart's calling. Maybe since you were a child, since it was talking about like childhood, becoming the child I was meant to be. And it is better to attempt to do something great and fail than attempt to do nothing and succeed at doing nothing, right? All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed your reading. I hope that you got some insight. If you would like me to dive any deeper, if anything specific came up for you in this reading that, you know, really just called out to you and you'd like to have some more clarification, feel free to email me. I believe I said my email in the beginning of this reading. My brain's a little scattered, so I'm not entirely sure if I said it or not. But it's T as in Tom, N as in Nancy, E as in Edward, S as in Sam, T as in Tom, 1002 @outlook.com. Also, please, if you do email me, put it in capital letters and like request for reading as the subject line would definitely help. And I will get back to you as soon as I can. And if you guys would not mind, please comment, share, like, and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. I am trying to be more consistent and do readings every day and grow my channel. And everyone's support would be immensely appreciated. Thank you so much. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day or night. And I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.